Hi everyone, welcome to our live lesson tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about common English mistakes. These are mistakes that I see quite often, but I have to say that you guys are a great class and you don't make these mistakes very often. But hopefully you can learn something from one of these mistakes that we're going to go over tonight. I'm going to turn my video off because I have an iPad in front of me that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to be looking down at that. So let me turn my video off and then we'll get started. So common English mistakes that I run into. The first, so we're going to go through and I have sentences here and you get to look for the English mistakes. So the first sentence, I met John 2 years before. So the problem here is the word before. Oops, there we go. Before is a preposition, and a preposition needs an object. Before what? So you could change it by saying, I met John 2 years before college. Or another thing you could do is you could change it to, I met John 2 years ago. Then it's not a preposition and you don't need to have an object there. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. Thank you, I really enjoyed. So the problem here is something needs to be after enjoyed. What did you enjoy? We need an object to the sentence. You could say, thank you, I really enjoyed myself, meaning that you had a good time. Oops, there we go. Or you could say, thank you, I really enjoyed, the movie. Hold on a second. There we go. The movie, or you could say, I really enjoyed the food, or you could say, I really enjoyed your company. So any of those would work, but you need some object after enjoyed. All right, let's go on to the next one. Did you lose your cell phone? Now, the way I pronounce this should give you a hint. When I showed this to my son, he's like, oh, did you lose your cell phone? I'm like, no. My husband started laughing at him. So this right here is the word loose, as in the opposite of tight. The word lose only has one O in it. So, hi, Lena. So we often go through and we misspell something, or we put a word in there that sounds similar but is not the same. So, all right. So that one should be lose, not loose. Let's go to the next one. Yes, I have a free time. The problem with this one is the A. We don't need an article there. A is the indefinite article, and we don't need an article there. Yes, I have free time. This is one that just doesn't need an article, and I run into that a lot. All right, let's go on to the next one. Oh, I have 3 in a row here that are all about prepositions, and these are a little tricky. The school is at Bay Street. So Bay Street's the name of a street. So it should be the school is on Bay Street. And for anyone who's grew up speaking English, they really can't tell you why it should be on instead of at. It just sounds right. And after you get a lot of practice with English, it'll sound right to you too. But I have a slide here that will help you out in just a second. We're gonna go through 3 of these. They live in 10 Park Road. It should be they live at 10 Park Road. And the last one, the museum is on the city. It should be the museum is in the city, because that sounds like it's on top of the city. So here's the slide that's going to help you out. So I got this online, and this is great in explaining this. In is used for bigger objects like countries, like England. I live in England. I live in London. Or large times like I was born in the 70s, or I like music in the 80s, or I went, let's see, that will be in July. So those are bigger times. When you get a little bit more specific, you use on. That is on my birthday. That is on Oxford Street. That's on the corner. That's on the weekend. And then you get very specific, then you use at. So that's at the store, at 734 Oxford Street. Notice if you have a street, it's on, but if you say the exact address, then you use at. And at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to post this on the announcement so you can look at it again or print it off or do whatever you want with it, because I think that would be helpful for those of you who run into problems with prepositions. All right, this one has 3 mistakes in it. It's depend of when you will be available. So the first mistake, instead of it's depend, it should be it depends. It depends on when you will be available. So I run into that every once in a while. It depends on when you will be available. And let's go to the next one. I take dinner around 6 o'clock. For some other countries, that's normal to say that you take dinner or you take a drink or you take something, some kind of food. And we don't say take, we have dinner. I have dinner around 6 o'clock. So let's go on to the next one. I'm exciting about that interested movie. So the correct way to say this is I'm excited about that interesting, whoops, there we go, movie. So exciting, this is an adjective and it's describing I. And when you have an adjective describing inside of you, it has an ed ending. But if you have an adjective describing something outside of you, because interesting describes movie, it has an ing ending. So if it's inside of you, then it has an ed ending. If it's outside of you, it has an ing ending for the adjective. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I am excited about that interesting movie. So that might help you do a little better with that, if that's something that you run into. Is not a problem. In a lot of languages, it's okay to start a sentence with is. In English, you can start a question with is, but if you're starting a statement, you cannot start with is. You need to start with something else, like it is not a problem. You need to start with some kind of subject or pronoun there. Unless you're doing a question, you can say, is it wrong? Is it, then you can start with is. But if it's a statement, it needs to start, you cannot start with is. All right. Let's see. We only have 3 left. I am student, he is engineer. I show this to my husband and he's like, I am Jane, you are Tarzan, It sounds like you're a caveman when you talk like that. I am a student. He is an engineer. These are, oops. These nouns are countable, so they need an article in front of them. So a and an are both articles. The is also an article. So if it's referring to a specific student, you could say, I am the student. Like if you're the only student there, I am the student. But if you're one of many, then I am a student, right? But you need an article before student and before engineer.
I don't think she can see me, huh?
I can see you, Lena.
Oh.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Lena, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. They know like chocolate. When I showed this to my husband, he said, well, there's the problem. They like chocolate. So, yes, you could say they like chocolate, but if you want to say that they don't like chocolate, you need to say they don't like chocolate. That's how you say someone doesn't like chocolate, which would be a very sad state of affairs. All right, they don't like chocolate. And our last one, this one's kind of long, so please bear with me. I agree with you. Okay, so this one I took, just so you know, I took this one from something someone put it in the discussion board. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I run into this all the time. Especially the Latino students, they put commas in instead of periods. And so they'll have a paragraph. This should be many different sentences, but they make it all one sentences and just put commas in. So I'm not going to tell you whose this is. So I'm going to go through and put the periods in, and you may find some other mistakes along the way, but we'll go through and fix them. So I agree with you about our needs to put the Lord's things in first place in our lives. That should be a period right there, not a comma, capital I. In my life, since I started to work, I always have been pay my tithes. Okay, so it's going to be a period there, but it should say, I have always been paying my tithing. So I don't know if I can fix this without, I have always been paying, ing there, my tithes. You could say tithes, but it's more common to say tithing. Period. Capital I. It's very important to me because in this way, I really know that the Lord, capital L, will honor my devotion and my obedience. Period again. You notice wherever the commas are, those are where the periods belong. So I really feel that I am building the Lord's possessive kingdom on the earth. Earth is lowercase. There we go. So this is something that I see all the time, is people putting commas instead of periods. So try and watch out for that. Make sure that you don't have long run-on sentences. Your sentences should be about 2 lines long. That's a good sentence. When you go past that, there's a danger that you might be having a run-on sentence. All right, and that is our last one for today. Thank you for coming. So, Lena, do you have any questions?
I don't know. I'm only having a confusion with the present progressive and simple present and those things. I'm getting confused a bit.
Yeah, those are confusing. Simple progressive and perfect progressive and all those.
Yes.
Because present, past, and future, those are pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Now I'm going to turn my video back on. There we go. Now you can see me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Yeah, the simple, the progressive, the perfect, and the perfect progressive. You know what? Did I post some videos on those? I think I did on the announcements.
On the announcement?
Did you? Oh yeah. Um,
Okay, then I will look at it like, was it like when we started the week?
yeah. Let me look. Hold on. Here, I'm going to stop sharing. And then, hold on. I'm looking right now to see. I thought I did. Yep, here we go. Desktop one, share screen. There we go. And move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. Yeah. So this is the announcement at the beginning of the week.
Mm-hmm.
You come down here, simple present, simple past, present progressive, and present perfect tenses. So the perfect progressive is also called present perfect, which is confusing. But you can click on these links and there's some good explanations of those different tenses.
Okay.
Those will help.
Okay.
So,
I'll do that.
oh, good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have any other questions, here, I'm going to turn off the recording.